Stacey Widlitz is SW Retail Advisor and a CNBC contributor. Nice to have her on set today as well. Stacey, welcome back. You surprised?
I mean, the level of the decline, yes, I'm surprised. But here's the deal. Best Buy set us up in Q3. They told us that margins were going to be really, really bad. So we were somewhat prepared for that. What we were not prepared for is that giving away product didn't actually have the revenue effect that they expected. So they were trying to defend the market share, and they missed the comp.
Did they gain any share? This was the point of some debate earlier today, whether or not, as bad as the season was,
right,
they did better than some of their competitors.
True. So Best Buy said that they gain share, but when you're gaining share in a declining market, do you get rewarded for that? Particularly when the stock was up over 200% last year and analysts were raising expectations into the quarter. But I think the margins were worse than expected. And again, if you're not getting the revenue lift, you're just creating deflation, and that's just a downward spiral.
Jolie describes it as a speed bump, says it doesn't change the story. Don't extrapolate a bigger narrative from these Q4 results. Does that make any sense?
I would describe it more as roadkill versus a speed bump, because what he was saying on the call is, yes, don't read into this, but why shouldn't we believe that this is the new normal and that margins are being compacted permanently? This is not going to change.
I assume it's an Amazon effect, right? Are we back to talking about showrooming for Amazon? And is there any point at which discounts do drive traffic if they didn't do it this time?
Yeah, I mean, I think the market is tough. And again, you're just seeing deflation in products. It was interesting. I was at the ICR retail conference yesterday, and H.H. Gregg, I was in a breakout session. They were saying that they just came off of CES, and there's nothing exciting. There's nothing exciting in CE to make them feel that things are going to change. Yes, consumer electronics, whether it's the video category. They just felt that, there's no real driver, which is why they're focusing on appliances where there is a lift. And also you're seeing Sears, which owns the most market share of appliances. So that's an opportunity, but Best Buy has a small market share of that.
Appliances were up 17, something even Sears could not do when they posted their number. I asked Joe Feldman earlier, you look at what Bed Bath had to say, and now what Best Buy has to say. Not just about the consumer, but about the consumer and how they're tailoring their house, which is what we were led to believe is where they were focusing their spending. Is there something broken now in that narrative?
Well, I think that obviously that's been a sector that's done incredibly well as people upgrade their homes and they're spending more, and maybe that's hurt the less exciting categories like apparel, like other things. But I think going forward, are we sort of set up for a pause in the home upgrade potentially? And that's what you're hearing out of, whether it's Bed Bath, you're talking about, more promotions out there. People are using coupons more. So maybe we're set up for a breather in that space as well.
Now finally, it does sort of set up a lesson for why shorts don't work and then do work, right? What changed between now and late last year where shorts were really out of options and a lot of them had to give up?
Yeah, it's interesting. Last year, retail was up almost 40%, yet the fundamentals were pretty bad in the second half of the year. But everybody kept saying, let's look forward to an operating margin recovery story. And finally, we're looking at the numbers for 3 quarters in a row saying it's not happening. It's absolutely not happening. So now retail is imploding, and that's probably not going to change anytime soon.
Frustrating for those who covered at a loss late last year.
Incredibly frustrating.
Stacey, it's nice to have you stateside.
See you.
See you next time.
Yes.
Stacey Widlitz. We are still awaiting comments.